So it's February 2026. And if you're like most people I talk to, you're probably looking at a credit card statement that it looks less like a bill and more like a menu.
Right, yeah.
You've got your $20 a month for one AI, maybe another 20 for some pro model, 15 for an image generator, and it adds up.
Oh, it adds up fast.
But here's the thing. While all the big labs are, charging admission at the front door, there's this parallel reality happening, an underground network, so to speak, where the exact same technology, and talking models like Gemini 3.0 Pro, Claude Opus 4.6, is just sitting there, fully unlocked for absolutely nothing.
It sounds like a scam when you say it out loud, doesn't it? Like one of those old one weird trick pop-up ads.
It really does.
But it's real. And honestly, it's the most exciting shift I've seen in this space all year.
Yeah.
We aren't just talking about saving a few bucks. We're talking about getting access to tools that are, in some pretty specific ways, actually better than what you pay for.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to explore this free AI revolution. We have a whole stack of research here on, I think, 4 specific platforms that are really changing the game right now.
Yeah, 4 big ones.
And the mission for this conversation isn't just to give you a list of free stuff. It's to understand a new way of working. Because, usually when something's free online, you're the product. Or the quality is just
Garbage. Yeah.
So I have to ask, is this a deep dive into second-rate knockoffs, or is this actually usable tech?
That's the skepticism I was expecting. And honestly, it's healthy. You should be skeptical. But what we're seeing in the research on these platforms, Arena AI, Vheer, ChatGLM, and Qwen, it's not about knockoffs. It's about a fundamental shift in how compute is being distributed.
Okay.
We're not just talking about saving $50 a month. We're talking about something called platform matching.
Platform matching. Let's unpack that term before we get into the tools themselves. What does that actually mean for, say, the average user?
Sure. For the last few years, people really identified with a brand. You were a ChatGPT person or a Claude person.
Right.
You paid your subscription, and you kind of forced that one model to do everything for you, write code, make pictures, summarize your PDFs. Platform matching is the realization that in 2026, there is no single God model. This underground network lets you use the absolute best tool for a specific job without a paywall getting in your way.
So it's moving from a generalist approach to a specialist one.
Exactly. And it's about redundancy. If your main model hits a rate limit or maybe refuses to answer a sensitive question, you need a backup. This network gives you that. It's about building a workflow that doesn't break.
Okay, let's map this out then. We're going to look at 4 key players today: Arena AI, Vheer, ChatGLM, and Qwen. By the time we're done, the goal is for you to know how you could build a full app, generate 4K video, and do deep academic-level research.
All without pulling out your wallet.
Right.
Not even once.
That's the goal. So let's start with the philosophy of it. This source material talks about this concept of an underground network, and it feels like, in 2026, the question just isn't, can I afford the best AI anymore?
Yeah, that's not.
It's, do I know where to find it?
Right. And the cornerstone of this whole network is a platform called Arena AI.
Right.
Now, you might know them from their leaderboards, but they just raised a massive amount of money, like $150 million, to basically democratize access to this stuff.
Wow.
And they're offering a feature that I think completely changes how we interact with these models. It's called battle mode.
I love this concept, but I also find it a little unsettling. So let's unpack battle mode, because usually we're biased, right? We see a logo, we see GPT-5 or whatever, and we just assume it's the best.
Precisely. We are brand snobs.
Yeah.
Total snobs. If I show you an answer and I label it GPT-5, you are statistically more likely to rate it higher than the exact same answer labeled Llama open source.
We trust the logo.
We trust the logo.
Yeah.
So Arena's battle mode strips the logos away. It gamifies the Turing test.
So how does that workflow actually work? I type in a prompt, and then what happens?
You type in, say, write a Python script to scrape real estate data. Arena then spins up 2 anonymous models side by side, Model A and Model B. They both generate the code on your screen at the same time. You have no idea who they are.
So you just look at the code.
You look at the code, you test it, and you vote for the winner.
It forces you to value the output over the label. It's a blind taste test for intelligence.
It is. And once you pick, say, option A, it reveals, aha, that was Gemini 3 Flash. It just removes all the marketing fluff.
Okay.
But beyond the battle, Arena has a direct chat feature that's incredibly practical. You don't have to battle if you don't want to. You can just manually pick the heavy hitters.
The guide mentioned using Gemini 3 Pro specifically for messy documents. Now, Help me understand the distinction here. Why Pro? What makes that different from the standard free models you see everywhere else?
That's a great question. The Pro designation, it usually implies a larger parameter count and, more importantly, a much larger context window.
The context window being.
Basically, the AI's short-term memory. A standard model might remember the last 10 pages of your conversation. Gemini 3 Pro can hold a massive amount of information in its brain all at once.
So if I have a really chaotic PDF, like a 50-page legal contract that's just a wall of text,
Yeah.
I need that bigger window.
Exactly. You upload that to Gemini 3 Pro through Arena. You ask it to extract tasks, prioritize them with color codes, critical, high, medium, and it does it in seconds.
Uh-huh.
If you tried that on a smaller model, it would. It would hallucinate or just forget the first page by the time it got to the last. Or, if you need real-time info, you can just toggle on a search-capable model like Perplexity.
I saw an example in the notes about asking for the 10 most relevant AI news stories from the past 7 days.
Right. And because it's Perplexity running through this interface, it's not just making updates. It's searching the live web, finding sources, and giving you inline citations. Again, totally free.
But the part of Arena AI that really stopped me was the coding capability. We're not just talking about writing a little snippet of Python here.
No.
We're talking about building full web apps.
This is where it gets really interesting. They have a split-screen builder. So you select the model. The source recommends Claude Opus 4.5 syncing for this. And you just describe the app. The example they gave was something called Task Atlas.
Task Atlas. It sounds intense, but walk me through what the user is doing. Are they writing code?
No. And that's the beautiful part. The user didn't write a single line of code. They went to Arena, picked the model, and just describe their dream interface. I want a zoomable canvas for my tasks. I want animated cards. I want smart clustering. Make the buttons neon green.
It just builds it.
In real time.
Yeah.
The screen splits in half. On the left, the AI is writing the HTML, CSS, JavaScript. On the right, the app is actually running. You can click the buttons, test the drag and drop.
Wow.
And if you don't like the color of the buttons, you just say, make them look more cyberpunk, and the code just rewrites itself instantly.
This feels like it bridges that gap between a chatbot and an actual IDE and integrated development environment. But usually with these web-based builders, you're trapped. You can't take the code with you.
That's the kicker. You can download the entire project as a ZIP file. The guide even suggests using a free host like Hostinger to deploy it. So you go from a text prompt to a live public URL without writing a line of code. It moves from playing with AI to actually shipping a product.
That is wild. It really makes me wonder about that psychological shift we touched on. If we're constantly in battle mode, choosing the best output blindly, does that mean our loyalty to these big tech companies is just dead?
I think it just democratizes quality. It forces the models to actually be good, not just famous. If a smaller open source model gives you a better answer, it wins. The user doesn't care about the logo. They care about the result.
That's a great segue to our next platform, because this one seems to be all about removing barriers. It's called Vheer, and the headline here is frictionless.
Vheer is the antidote to subscription fatigue and login fatigue. You know that feeling when you just want to make a quick image, but you have to log in, find your two-factor code, then you realize you're out of credits?
Yes.
Vheer has none of that. No registration, no credit card, no usage caps.
That sounds surprisingly risky for them. How are they preventing abuse? And honestly, if it's that open, is the quality actually any good?
They're relying on the efficiency of the open source models they run. It's all designed for speed. The source highlights the text-to-image quality mode. You type a frog riding a bicycle through New York City, and boom, high quality, no watermark, ready to go.
I have to admit, I get prompt drift sometimes. I'll start with one idea, and then I get bogged down in all the settings on other apps, and I lose the spark. This sounds like it captures that initial creative burst.
That's the value proposition. Speed. It's about getting into that flow state. And it's not just static images. They have an image-to-video feature. You can take an old photo, upload it, and the AI animates it. It'll make the character wave or the wind blow through the trees.
And there's something called the context editor.
Yeah, this is for style transfer. Imagine you have a photo of your street, but you want it to look like a 1980s anime or an oil painting or some vintage film.
Okay.
You upload it to the context editor, click a button, and it just transforms the visual style while keeping the geometry of the street exactly the same.
It really feels like Vheer is designed for that creator economy pace. It's fast, iterative, disposable even.
It raises an interesting point, yeah. With no accounts and no login, It implies a shift toward, like you said, disposable creativity. You're not building a curated portfolio on Vheer. You're just treating creation as a stream. You generate 50 images, grab the one that works, and then you close the tab. It's gone. It's ephemeral.
Okay, let's pivot a bit. We've talked about coding and creative stuff, but what about the office? What about all the people drowning in PowerPoints and PDFs? This brings us to ChatGLM.
Right. And we have to address the elephant in the room here. ChatGLM is a Chinese platform. It's built by Zhipu AI. And in the past, a lot of Western users have been skeptical of non-Western models. And there are valid concerns about data privacy. You probably don't want to upload state secrets to a free web interface no matter who owns it.
Fair point. But the source calls it the Office Powerhouse.
Yeah.
Why? What is it doing that the U.S. models aren't?
U.S. models are obsessed with chat. ChatGLM is obsessed with deliverables. The killer feature here is the PPT generator. You know how much time we all waste formatting slides?
Too much. It's the bane of my existence.
With ChatGLM, you toggle on AI slides, and you just say, create a professional quarterly review deck for a marketing agency. It asks you a few questions about tone and structure, and then it generates a fully formatted PowerPoint or PDF. Layouts, visuals, charts, it's just done.
But are they good? Usually AI slides look like something a high schooler made in 1999.
They're surprisingly competent. They're structured correctly.
Yeah.
And more importantly, they're editable. It gets you maybe 80% of the way there in 10 seconds. It turns a 3-hour task into a 20-minute polished job.
And it handles documents, too.
Yeah. It's got an AI reading feature. You can upload huge PDFs. We're talking 80-plus pages, like dense research papers.
Yeah.
It ingests them and basically turns into a conversational search engine for that specific document.
So you don't scan for keywords.
No, you just ask it, what are the conclusions about variable X on page 40? And it pinpoints it for you.
There was one specific example in the notes that I thought was really cool. The precision editing on images. The blue hoodie example. Can you explain how that works technically?
Oh, I love this. So usually if you want to change an image with AI, say change the hoodie to blue, the AI regenerates the whole thing. The guy's face changes, the background shifts. It ruins the photo.
Right, it just rolls the dice again on the entire scene.
ChatGLM does object segmentation. It identifies the pixels that are the hoodie, it masks them, changes only those pixels to blue, and leaves the face and the background 100% original. It's surgical.
So looking at ChatGLM, does this replace the need for a separate Office suite? Or is it something else?
I think of it as an intelligent layer on top of the Office suite. You might still need PowerPoint to do the final polish, but ChatGLM does all the heavy lifting. It automates that tedious formatting work so you can focus on the actual story.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to look at the heavy lifter, the tool for deep work that might just replace the junior research analyst. Stay with us.
Welcome back. We've covered the coder, which was Arena, the creative, Vheer, and the office assistant, ChatGLM. Now we need to talk about the heavy lifter. The source calls this one industrial strength. We're talking about Qwen from Alibaba.
Qwen is fascinating because it's really aiming for deep work. This is not just for chatting. The standout feature here is called projects.
How is that different from a normal chat history? Most AIs have a history tab. It's about context and isolation. A chat history is just a linear list. A project in Qwen is a dedicated workspace with its own memory instructions. So let's say you're a freelancer. You have client A, who likes a formal tone and British spelling. You have client B, who likes slang and emojis.
That's a nightmare to keep straight in your head.
Exactly. So you create a project for each of them. You upload the brand guidelines and the tone of voice right into the project settings. Now, every time you step into the Client A project, Qwen becomes that employee. You don't have to remind it of anything. It's all isolated context.
That's crucial for freelancers or anyone juggling multiple roles. But the feature that really caught my eye was deep research. We hear that term a lot, but what does Qwen actually do that's different?
There's a step change. You're not just asking a question and getting a paragraph back. You give it a prompt like, what are the 5 best foods for longevity? And you set it to advanced mode. Yeah. It doesn't just answer you. It goes off and conducts a 15 to 20-minute agentic search.
Wait, it takes 20 minutes. In the age of instant gratification, that feels like a bug.
It's a feature. Think about it. If you asked a human researcher that question, would you want the answer in 3 seconds?
No.
No. You'd want them to dig. So in those 20 minutes, Qwen is performing agentic search. It's breaking your question down into sub-questions. It's going out to Google Scholar, PubMed, News Archives. Yeah. It's reading dozens of papers, cross-referencing them, throwing out the bad ones, and synthesizing the good ones.
So it's doing the work of a junior research analyst.
Yes. And what it comes back with is not a chat bubble. It's a 12-page report with citations, executive summaries, links to the sources.
That is incredible, but it's also a little terrifying. If I can get a 12-page report on longevity in 20 minutes for free, am I even a researcher anymore?
I think your role shifts.
Mm-hmm.
You stop being the hunter, the person digging through pages of Google results, and you become the editor. You become the verifier.
Yeah.
Your value isn't in finding the raw information. It's in synthesizing the AI's report and figuring out if it's actually true and relevant. You move up the value chain.
From gathering to synthesizing.
Precisely.
And on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, Qwen is also doing high-end video.
This was the moment that made me go, whoa. I mean, we've all seen AI video, but Qwen is doing video with native audio.
Audio, too.
The example in the source is so vivid. You prompt for a samurai action sequence. Shaky camera, motion blur, swords clashing. Yeah. And the AI generates the video, but also the sound of the metal striking, the sound of arcane lightning crackling. It's multisensory.
And this is all free.
Currently, yes. Unlimited generation, no watermarks.
So let's zoom out. We've looked at Arena AI, Vheer, ChatGLM, and Qwen. It's a lot of firepower.
It's massive. And if we just recap, you've got Arena as the decision engine using battle mode to write code and pick the best models. Mm-hmm. You've got Vheer for that instant frictionless creativity. ChatGLM is your corporate weapon for all those PDFs and slides. And Qwen is for the really deep dives and, cinematic production.
The big idea here seems to be that in 2026, having a budget isn't the competitive advantage anymore.
No. The advantage is knowledge. The advantage is strategy. It's about redundancy. The person who relies on one $20 subscription is fragile. If that model goes down or gets dumber, they're stuck.
Right.
The person who knows this underground network, they're anti-fragile. They can pivot. They can match the platform to the task.
That's a powerful place to land. So here's our challenge to you listening. Pick one task you usually pay for. Maybe it's a stock image, maybe it's summarizing a document, and just try one of these free tools instead. Just one.
Absolutely. Go build an app on Arena. Yeah. Generate a frog on a bike on Vheer. Just test the waters.
Because the tools became free. The strategy is now your job.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll catch you in the next one.